Hi, it's Alex Counts again. This will be the first of a two-part series on how to deal with a struggling employee in a nonprofit organization. I'll start off by saying that over the years I've gotten pretty good at interviewing people, selecting talent amongst a candidate pool, but I can tell you that I've never got beyond 2 out of 3 of the people that I hire or am involved in hiring being really good hires. So 1 out of 3 just don't work out for whatever reason you can't see, or at least I can't see during the selection process. And I really have not met many people that have a higher success rate than that, maybe a little bit. But some people will slip through and they just won't succeed, so what do you do? A lot of what I'll tell you is applicable in any kind of organization where you have an employee who's failing, who's not succeeding, not meeting their goals, violating policy, whatever the problem is. But in nonprofits, we tend to come from a place of solidarity, of kindness, of understanding, of second chances and third chances and fourth chances for people who have society has kind of left behind. So our tendency with employees who are struggling is to continue to kind of kick the ball down the road and give them chances to work out far beyond what is really called for, and nonprofits' missions as a result suffer. And I'm going to tell you now about some of the pitfalls when you have an employee who's not doing well. First of all, as a leader or even their manager is not running the organization, tendency to say it's my fault, I'm not supporting them well enough. And sometimes that has a role, but oftentimes it's just you're taking the responsibility yourself where the employee is really having a problem and it's not much related to you. A lot of people who have a strong kind of responsibility gene default to that. Sometimes you want to move the person into another role. Now that can work, but oftentimes people just are not well suited to a particular organization at all. Moving them into another role and just having them struggle there is not the best option. Then having other people cover for them. Now this isn't usually an explicit strategy, but what happens is if people aren't kind of holding up their part of the bargain, other employees who are very dedicated will do their work for them, will overfunction, is what of my mentors said. The problem is they'll come to resent that. They'll come to resent that no one's taking action on this employee that's not succeeding, or either helping them succeed effectively or moving them out. At this point, when your employee is struggling, and if an employee is you're thinking that the person might need to be forced out of the organization, the person might need to be fired, to use a term we don't often like to use. Probably it's well past time for you to do it. But when you start raising this, then sometimes your HR, your human resources professionals, your legal professionals, if you have them on staff or maybe on the board, will kind of caution you and ask you to document it and try to help them, and they'll try to put the brakes on bringing this to a close and moving someone out. In practice, you got to listen to those professionals. They have a point. You don't want to open up yourself up to a lawsuit, but actually you should push back to some degree. And you can't document every employee as if they're going to fail. That takes up a lot of time. So once someone is struggling, yes, do your documentation, but also try to move faster than probably the risk-averse HR and legal advisors that you have, and find some middle ground, some compromise. In the next video, I'm going to talk about if you get to that point where you need to let an employee go, how to do it in the best possible way for your organization, for them, and long term, it can serve everyone involved if you do it sensitively.